For Top Glove, I think it's a realization that we have to continue to cut down our reliance on manual labor. And the government has encouraged us to do automation, digitalization, etc. And basically, it's the inward feeling that if we don't change, very soon we will be left behind, like what you have seen in many of the scenarios in the world. And so getting there has a lot to do with, to tell ourselves that you need to embrace technology, you need to move forward. And if no technology, no automation, and no innovation, there will be no future for the company.
From the property and construction industry, definitely is relevant about competition. Today, the market is talking about affordable housing. Yeah, affordable housing. And one of the elements is that how fast you construct a house. The faster you construct a house, the less financial cost. Secondly is the labor cost. I'm very sure all of you in the room are very clear. Most of the foreign laborers is either in the factory or in the construction site. So right. By having this to transform it to Industrial 4.0, that helps a lot. Helps be competitive, bring down the labor costs, naturally increase productivity, and at the end of this, the bottom line that counts.
So when you say bottom line, what are the elements that you look at?
Yeah, turnaround time is one of them, which a lot of people didn't see the value in it. It has financial implication. And the other part is that the cost of labor, the cost of foreign labor, like just now, Dr. Asmin was saying that, look, quoting from Top Glove Chee, the labor cost is ever increasing.
Right.
Yeah, automation will definitely decrease in terms of cost. So it's only logical to move towards that area.
So cost is obviously a
yes.
good factor to sort of to benchmark with. And
you're right.
I think what we need to do as a corporate is to set the agenda. There must be an agenda in the board, must be an agenda at various level of meetings and group in the company. Because there must be constant necking. Because we're talking about cultural change.
Yeah.
If you don't talk it, then you must follow with action. So all little things that you buy, little things that you do in a company, must show that you're moving towards IT, innovations, Industry 4. I think we have to do away with overhead projector in the meeting room. We have to have digital screen. We have to, well, these little things need to happen to show to the people that you're serious about innovation. And dare to experiment. I think in KPJ we experimented a lot of projects. Some are successful, some are not. So we are fortunate because most of our hospitals are independent company. So we have little project we can experiment and try in one hospital. If it's successful, then we can roll out throughout the group, throughout all 25 hospitals. So there are many projects happening, little projects happening all over the place.
Right.
So dare to experiment and dare to take the risk.
Okay.
You need to emphasize a lot on research and development and getting dynamic people to be manning the department and also allowing the possibility of failures. And basically you have to understand that not everything that comes out from the R&D will be successful.
Exactly.
So a certain degree of tolerance has to be given. And I believe that the learning part could be also easier, with modern learning, innovative learning, modern technology. Learning is much easier such that mistakes are also much lesser compared to previously when learning is done manually. So by doing that, I believe that you can encourage this department. We pay a lot of attention. We even set up a dedicated research and development center where we have a total of 120 personnel manning the department. We have 16 doctorate staff and 20 master's staff, and the rest are graduate staff. And that number, if you compare with Samsung, we feel that we are just too small because Samsung has a total of 300,000 staff out of which 75,000 staff are involved in R&D. So you look at the scale that they have, is tremendous. So if we are only 120, still a long way to go. Still a long way to achieve that kind of status.
Talent is one thing, but getting the right talent. So in our case in KBJ, we have big generation gap. We have a lot of nurses in their 20s. We have significant numbers of doctors in the 70s. So imagine the challenge how to bridge a gap and meet two different sets of expectations. For example, when we embark on the IT journeys, it's easy to tackle the nurses because they are also our employees. But when it comes to doctors, they're not our employees. Right. So they're used to certain way of doing things, certain ways of managing their clinics. So what we need is just be patient with them and hand-holding in a lot of exercises to make sure that they come on board. So we employ a lot of nurses, young nurses, to work with doctors. So a lot of our doctors are males, a lot of nurses are female, so make things a lot easier. So if you go to KBJ Hospital now, there are many senior doctors actually carrying iPad, carrying tablets, doing their work rounds. So I would like to say that we are successful in that process, in converting many of our doctors to use system, to use digital records, as opposed to medical record, manual medical record and manual processes. So the challenge is big, but I think.
And how are you managing that in KPJ?
We have gone through the learning curve. I think we are now bearing the fruit of our early exercise, because we're still converting some of the doctors, but our job is a lot easier now because we can just show to the other consultants, look, that doctor is older than you. There's no excuse for you not to come on board. So, and as more and more doctors using the system, so moving forward will be a lot easier. I think the challenge in healthcare sector, and I'm sure in many companies in Malaysia, is still the programmers. We still lack in computer programmers, and especially with specialized skill in certain industrial sectors. And if you buy a system from overseas, there's a lot of customization that we need to do, there's a lot of conversion that we need to do, and it can be very costly. And in our case, we partly own the system now, so we need a lot of programmers. But I find this is the biggest challenge. There are not enough good programmers in the country.
Just about a couple of weeks ago, I just asked Rainmaking to give me a report. We just got them to prepare a report about, they call it contact and real estate technologies, disruption in the market. We have shared about a year or two ago, that in our industry, there are a lot of investment already gone into startups to disrupt a lot of segment of the industry, property and constructions. They are already like about 3-4 years. They say that in the 5th year, likely some of this will be rolled out. Maybe next year will be rolled out. So we either collaborate with them, or we'll lose part of the business. Yeah.
Right.
So that partnership itself, fortunately, we start to learn about our blind side, the side that we didn't see all the while, because like Dato was saying that, look, we were trying to grow organically. We didn't realize that in the market it have changed. So working with partners tells us a lot of things. Tells us that, hey guys, that's not the best way to go. There are really a lot of people on it. They're going to come up with something that what we're going to do or what money you're going to spend on will no longer be relevant.
So how do you identify those partners? What are the ways that you do in terms of identifying? Obviously, when you want to do Industry 4.0, there are just many people out there, many vendors and all that who can do some part of it. But how do you go out and identify?
I think we were lucky because we were introduced to MDEC. Yeah, I just we are lucky.
Okay, that was not a.
So, if you ask us, actually, I think Deloitte, they know that currently we are working with them actually. Yeah. So we would have gone to Deloitte and somebody like that. Yeah. But in the meantime, we have also worked with MDEC and Raymaking on some of these partnerships.
Right, okay, thank you.
Because you can look at the cost, but many of our services are highly regulated. Our doctor's fees, there's already a schedule that you cannot go beyond. So most of our charges and prices are dictated by the market. You cannot go too far because already people are complaining about high cost of healthcare. So what we are doing is basically just to improve our process, and hopefully we will find somewhere in the future later that people will see the benefits of it. So I'm willing to come and pay more for the services. So I can tell here today that none of KPJ projects related to IT innovation are linked to ROI.
Oh, interesting.
We make basically gloves, and so far, thank goodness, keep our fingers crossed, touch wood, no disruptors yet. No one has made a glove. They say that, just dip it into the solution and here you go, you have a glove, an invisible glove. Nobody will do that. I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, you will not be comfortable to have that kind of solutions for you. But still, it is good for us not to rest on our laurels, because you never know what is coming up in the next 5 years. Things could change. And basically, a lot more competition will come into the market. And this is where you need to really dive in and be involved to also change along with the market. Because your customers might expect a different kind of expectation. They might expect a different kind of engagement. So all this could only be done if you have technology to help you. And if you don't have technology, basically you are slow to react, and you will not be able to make it. So that's where the name of the game is that basically get in, don't be afraid, and everyone else have the same experience when they first started. And once you're in, don't stop, and continue to do better, and ask yourselves, how could you distinguish yourself? How could you be the preferred glove manufacturer as compared with someone else?